This is it, the virtuoso level you've been working towards. That virtuoso music you're hearing is the brilliant aria Sempre Libera from La Traviata. It's being sung and played by Peggy Skarry, who will join us in a moment. Once again, this is Frank Farrell, and I am simply delighted that Peggy created this vocal workout program. The Gotta Sing trilogy should give you hours of productive and progressive practice time. I know it has helped me to attain many of my personal goals as an actor and singer. This tape, the Ahs Have It, is fast-moving and advanced, but fun and challenging at the same time. Here comes Peggy now. Peggy, you were wonderful. That was amazing. Now, here is truly the musical Wizard of Oz, the author of these tapes and your guide and coach, Peggy Skarry.
I feel very lucky to have had Frank as the host for these tapes. He's not only an excellent actor and singer, but is also a highly creative, innovative, and energetic teacher in his own right. His many projects here in Chicago range from starting unique theater companies to witty and provocative shows involving people in all aspects of theater and music. He's been seen and heard on radio and TV, has taught Shakespeare and improvisation, and does one-man shows as John Keats. He's truly an amazing person, and I'm sure you'll be hearing a lot about him in the future. The making of these tapes has been a delight, and I want to thank all the young people who have participated in them. Frank, of course, Carol Wyatt and Peter Anderson from tape 2, and 3 others that you'll meet on this tape: Susan McGee, Norman Engstrom, and Dale Morgan. They are all greatly talented and appear regularly in professional opera, musical theater, commercials, films, and all the many avenues that are involved in building a career in music and show business. All of them have been a wonderful help in demonstrating the techniques of the exercises, and we've had a lot of fun, too. Now, to all of you out there who have persevered, here you are at the final chapter in this series of Gotta Sing, the Ahs Have It. Indeed they do. If you can negotiate all the exercises on this tape with speed and accuracy, you have come a long way towards being a real singer. Unlike closed and fully read books, this trilogy of tapes can be an open-ended companion whose help and friendship can be yours as long as you have the motivation and determination to continue your vocal quest. Many of the drills on this tape will move at a rapid tempo, but don't panic. Just listen carefully, because if you can hear it accurately, you can generally do it. Also, keep a resolve of daily practice if you want steady progress. A daily or frequent workout with your vocal equipment is the means to strength, endurance, and flexibility with which to handle any type of musical problem you may encounter. If you're studying, believe me when I say that your teacher will know without the shadow of a doubt whether you've been doing your daily practice. Before an intensive vocal workout, it's a good idea to rev up your body and nervous system to be in a state of dynamic relaxation, sort of like a runner who is getting set for the starting gun. If you start cold, you can do mischief to your equipment. On tapes 1 and 2, there are a series of physical and breathing exercises that are designed to prepare your whole body and breathing apparatus for sustaining a taxing vocalizing period, followed by the working out of your songs, arias, audition material, score learning, or whatever you have to or want to learn. Because the vocal exercises on this tape are long, I won't be able to give you the same physical workout as on the previous tapes. So in a sense, you are on your own. If you are familiar with aerobics or stretching and upper body exercises, devise a program that is uniquely suited to yourself. Remember not to overdo anything to the point of fatigue or pain. Use common sense. Remember that you're just warming your body up for a vocal workout. Breathing exercises should be done to activate your lungs and diaphragm. Breathe in with a sipping kind of inhalation to a certain regulated count. Be sure that whatever count you use, you inhale fully to that count and exhale until empty to that count. It will require getting used to the regulation of the breath no matter how many or few you use. So be creative and choose your own meters and tempos. You're going to meet all kinds of different length phrases and speeds in your songs and arias. By now, you've undoubtedly met lots of music that illustrates what I'm saying. The breathing exercises that I gave you on tape 1 with the water and the straw is great drill in using your breath dynamically, in increasing your vital capacity, and in becoming uninhibited. Pay attention to your posture. You should be standing with feet slightly apart for good balance, pelvis tucked under, spine and neck stretched long, and head straight up from your spine and not thrust forward. This stance should automatically keep the chest and rib cage high. Your ear is undoubtedly much more acute than when you began on tape 1, so let's review. Listen for a pure and open sounding vowel. Bow your breath rather than hold it. Take only enough breath as is needed for the pitch level you're going for. Listen for as clear a sound as possible with a core and not breathiness, and be in the center of the pitch. Now, since this is the last and most virtuosic tape in the workout series, it will be intensive. There's lots to cover, so let's begin. Okay, we're ready for some hums, which are an excellent way to find the focus for what's to come. Remember that we use 3 forms, the M as in Margaret, the N as in Nancy, and the NG as in the word hung. Moving rather rapidly and starting on the low F for the low voices, hum through the 5-note scale up and back. Listen for a core in the center of the hum. Go for the buzz. Ready, hum on an M. Keep the breath moving freely and smoothly. And for a nice warm-up for the people who are going to be demonstrating for you, I'm going to ask them to hum with you all the way through this exercise. Here we go. Good. On this tape, I'm going to move into the high registers more often. So as I've said on all the tapes, if I play it higher than you can go with comfort, drop out and come back in on the way down. I hope you're feeling warmed up and resonant because we'll be starting with the vowels right away. On tape 2, we did 5-note runs 3 times without stopping on the vowels E, E, and Ah. Now we'll simply turn those around, begin on Ah, and move through E and E without stopping. Here's a demonstration. Susie? Okay, now here it is with the baritone voice. Dale?
Ahs You Like It. 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 Ahs You Gear.
tenor range, Norm. Good. Now starting on low F, for you low, low voices, let's begin. I'm sure that you're not as afraid of heights as you were when you began on tape 1. Now that we're up here, I'm going to reverse the strategy of starting low and going high by starting high and moving downward. Starting on this level, we're going to do a rapid 3-note turn twice, like this, on Ah. And I'll play it first. Remember, do not strain to hit the high notes, although it's perfectly possible that your range has increased simply because you've been practicing regularly. But if your voice doesn't have the upper registers, don't push it. Just come in again when the pitches become more comfortable. Susie and Norm, do a couple of these together. Ready? Fine. Now, all you higher voices begin on Ah. Ready? Go. We'll keep it light and fast. Continue. Hear each note clearly. Release the tension and the breath between patterns. Try not to slow down the rhythm. How did it feel? Could you hear all 3 notes up and down with clarity? Keep working on it. You'll get it. Good. Take a very short break. Now let's try some of what I call struck tones. First, do an octave slur like this. And follow that by 4 struck tones thus. And then make an octave slur downward like that. Here's how the whole thing sounds. As you can hear, the tones I call struck are simply detached from each other with a moment of space. The octave slur upward acts as a kind of get-off for the first struck note. It takes a little getting used to, so work with it until you feel you're doing it correctly, then incorporate it into your arsenal of vocal tricks. Let's try it, shall we? Here we go. Breathe. Make sure you're on the track at all times when you're slurring. Make sure you're hearing space with no bleed over between each one of the struck tones. One more. Very good. For some more interval practice, let's try some thirds. Here's an example of the scale in thirds. We're going to start on low G. Make sure your intonation is accurate. Keep bowing your breath. Wait a beat at the top before starting down. Why don't you join us, Dale, Norm, and Susie? Ready? Let's go. Good. Breathe and the thirds as a kind of form, we're going to do what are called triplets, which simply means 3 notes to a beat. Here is an example of the scale using a triplet pattern. It's really not as difficult as it would seem at first hearing. The main thing is to be able to hear each note clearly at a certain speed. Here's a simple little preliminary exercise you can practice before trying to do it on pitches. Imitate a trumpet player doing a tonguing practice, something like this. You guys try it. Good. If you can't do it that fast at first, try it a bit slower. Listen for the articulation of each impulse and feel for the beat. Now all you have to do is add the pitches. Let's start a bit slower for a few until you get the hang of it. On Ah, start on our familiar low F for the low voices. And let's go rather slowly at first. To tempo. Breathe and relax. As you know by now, these exercises and all exercises that are used to train singers are a means to an end, that end being the ability to apply the techniques acquired in the exercises to the music you'll be studying. For a bit of treat, I've asked Norm and Dale to demonstrate a passage of triplets from Rossini's Barber of Seville. It's a very funny scene between the Count and Figaro, and they'll sing it in English. Ready, gentlemen? Here we go.
Tis sagacious, my invention. Tis sagacious, my invention. Tis sagacious, my invention. Bravo, 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 nada, moment loose. Tis sagacious, my invention. Bravo, 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 nada, moment loose. Bravo, bravo, nada, moment loose. Bravo, bravo, nada, moment loose.
That kind of singing of fast passages is frequent in the music of Rossini and that period. If you want to know more about the plot of the opera, there are many books with the stories of the operas in your local library or bookstore. Also, there are excellent recordings in every record store of the complete opera or the main excerpts. Thank you very much, fellows. That was delightful. As you can see, this kind of singing is great fun if you don't panic. the end of side 1. Fast forward to the end of the tape. Side 2 has lots more workout. Now we'll be getting into the more complex arpeggios. The one we will start with here will be similar to the one on tape 2, but we'll extend it by one more interval of a third, like this. Here's the one we did before. Here's the one we'll do now. Susie, will you demonstrate it, please? Okay, let's start by doing it only once. Ready? Go. Increase your stamina and endurance as well as your pitch acuity by doing it twice at this tempo. Susie, will you do the honors? Good. Now it's your turn. We'll start low for the heavier voices, and as always, come in when it's your own comfort range. Here we go. Be light and buoyant. Hear every pitch. Continue. Keep it light and rather bouncy. The magic note, high C. Great work. The second one in this series is an arpeggio as before, 1, 3, 5, 8 going up, and what is called a dominant seventh pattern coming down. It sounds like this. We're going to use the ah vowel alone going up and add a different consonant to each dominant seventh coming down. The first consonant is, of course, B. Here's what the entire exercise sounds like. Let's have Dale demonstrate a couple. Dale? And then Ka. Okay, Norm, continue on Da. And skip E, of course, Fa. Idea. Obviously, skip the letters that are vowels or repetitive sounds. Now, let's all begin on A flat fairly slowly. Ready? Increase the tempo and do it twice like this. Okay, ready? Let's go. Breathe, Ka. Da. on la. As you can see, it's very important that you keep the alphabet order in mind at all times in this one. A variation of this exercise is to use double consonants such as BR, BL, CR, CL, DR, FR, FL, PR, PL, etc. There are also a few triple consonants you can use, such as STR. Take a word like strange. The A is the vowel, so you establish it first. A, then add the STR, still keeping it one syllable. Strange, as in strange dear, but true dear. I would suggest running the tape back to the beginning of this exercise and practicing it with double and triple consonants. Now for more variety of sound, and to be a little perverse, I'm going to ask you to do a major arpeggio followed by a minor one. Here is a major chord. Very comfortable and familiar. Now, here's the minor form. Just a small change makes an entirely new ball game. Let's give it a try. It'll sharpen up your ear and will give you more awareness of your instrument and its tonal slots. Ready? Here we go. We'll start down on low F for the low voices. First major. Slowly until you get very confident. Good work. Now, as you get more proficient with tuning these, you'll be able to go very fast. Let's hear a couple very fast ones, like about, okay, with everybody. There's only one more in this series of arpeggios, and it is not only an arpeggio, but a combination of several patterns. It begins with an arpeggio pattern of 1, 3, 5, 8, but in a different order than before. This time it goes 1, 3, 1, 5, 1, 8, then it makes a turn upwards, and then comes down the scale and back to the starting point. Let's use the more American vowel sounds of I and eh. Here is a sample. Susie? Good. Let's hear it in a baritone. Dale? And Norm, how about a high F sharp? Get the vowel sounds exactly pure and smoothly transisted. Now, sing it together for a few until they get the hang of it. Okay, we'll start down here and sing along for a couple. Breathe in. Try not to put any H sounds in there when you go for the octave. A few moments while Susie demonstrates a particularly difficult arpeggio passage from the aria Je suis Titania by Thomas. That was wonderful, Susie. Since you did triplets on side 1, let's do some 16th note patterns with 4 notes to a beat or pulse. We'll use 2 different patterns, but we'll combine them by starting with one, going into another, and then back to the original. Here's the first pattern. It's up 3 notes and down a third. The other one is a 4-note pattern that goes up the scale. Now they're going to be like this. And the other one is going to come in a little higher, and it will be this. For all 4 notes in each pulse. Okay, let's begin on the low F with the first one, up 3 and down a third. Ready? 4 notes up. Now skip a 4th and come down. That's it. Keep doing this one for a while. The one that goes up 3 and down 1. Same note. Let's go a couple more. Same note. Let's do one more. Now, in that aria that Susie sang from a few minutes ago, there is a particularly difficult cadenza that has nearly everything you've done on all 3 tapes. Take it away, Susie. The last 2 exercises on this tape will test just about everything you've learned so far. This one combines 3 different patterns. 2 5-note runs up and down at a rapid speed, like this. The second segment will use a major scale going up, an extension of 2 more notes on the top and down on a dominant 7th. And the third is the last of the patterns is an octave slur. Here's the way they sound when you put them all together. First, a bit slower than it will go. Okay, on E. Susie, show them what it sounds like, quite fast. Good. How about Norm in the tenor range? Dale in the baritone range. Wonderful. Now it's your turn. On E, start here. Ready, go. Good. I tell you, you are marvelous, darling. Now get ready for the last exercise that we will do on these tapes. While you're all revved up, we'll do this final exercise, which is used by many major singers. Here it is. Let's hear Norm and Susie do it first. Ready? Good. It sounds very complicated, but just listen carefully, and before long, you'll be doing it like a pro. It has two halves. The first sounds like this. And the second half sounds like this. As you can see, the second half is similar to the first, but has an extra turn in the pattern. So once again, let me call my young friends to demonstrate it for you. Norm and Susie, it's all yours. One more time. All right, now you virtuosos out there, here we go. Starting here, Norm and Susie, you can sing along. Here we go. Very good. You are truly intrepid adventurers, and I'm proud of you. Now, while you cool down, I'm going to ask Dale and Norm to sing one other portion of the Barber of Seville for you. Here we go.
Transports unknown before, with hope inspire me. Star of my destiny, let me but wait me. life will be blessed. I hear them cheating, I hear them cheating, I see them drinking, I see them drinking. Let me go in, let me go in, let me go in, and life is blessed. I hear them cheating, I hear them cheating, I see them drinking, I see them drinking. Let me go in, let me go in, let me go in, and life is blessed. Let I but win them, life will be blessed. Let I but win them, life will be blessed. Yes, yes, life will be blessed. Yes, yes, life will be blessed. Life will be blessed.
That music is so much fun and so difficult. I hope you've enjoyed these tapes enough to practice with them as often as possible. Keep your own dreams fresh and keep going, and you will sing your own song in your own way. The Ahs indeed have it.
This marks the end of the Gotta Sing vocal workout tapes. But, as Peggy has said, this should be only the beginning of your exploration of singing. I hope we'll be seeing you in the vocal studios, the auditions, the community theaters, the choirs and choruses, any place that will let you apply what you've learned. Helen Keller once said, "We can do anything we want to do if we stick to it long enough." So, get your Ahs in gear. This is Frank Farrell saying, you guessed it, practice, 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 practice.